Okay, now we're back. Ezekiel, come on. Now, Ezekiel, I got a crappy carrot selection. You almost look dangerous. You're so funny. Are you in jail? Okay. Hi, how you doing? Okay, I know I got 3 carrots, and one of them sucks. It's not very good. Okay, wait, we need light. There you go. There you go, take that one. There you go, buddy. How you been? I've missed you. I haven't seen you in a while. Sorry, I'm kind of blinding you. Yeah, the side's better. Get off this. Look at this little thing. He's like, that's not even a carrot. Dude, you reject. Come on. It's not the size of the carrot. It's the vitamin C in the ocean. And that's all I got, okay? That's all I got. All right, good seeing you. And if I hang around too long, he'll start thinking I got more carrots. And it's kind of like teasing him a little bit. So let's go ahead and get going. But I'm going to turn up the light. I think I could probably leave it on. You think medium? I need to look that up to see what the time is. If it's 3 hours, you know. Kai's bike light has numbers, like how many hours are left. This one's, it's just got a color, you know, it's green, it's good to go. But I imagine, like, I don't think it goes straight to red. I think it goes to orange, and then I could probably drop it down a notch if it does that, of the 3 levels. And then, like, the last mile is, it's got street lights and stuff, so probably all right. Oh, I need to pedal so that I'm getting actual workout. The temperature is amazing, 75 degrees. We got a nice hill coming up. There's an animal right there. What is that? No, that was a beer can. And where did I leave off? Oh, so these wheels. So, like, I'm super bummed that for this big bikepacking adventure, there's just not enough time. Oh, at the top of this hill, if I remember. Let's check the rack and see if all the bolts are tight. I meant to do that. Don't want to stop at the bottom of the hill and got momentum already. Unless you're tired, it's been on a long ride, stopping at the bottom hill is actually pretty good. Because then after your break, you'll have a lot of energy to climb that hill instead of killing yourself to get up to the top when you're already really tired. Racing training tip for long distance stuff. If your answer, here's your moment of zen. If your answer to the question has "it depends" on it, that is a good answer. That is a wise answer. Early on, while you're fresh, or a shorter ride, don't stop at the bottom. Get that ride in, use that momentum. Good workout. Long ride. Towards the end, you're getting overheated, getting tired. Find a nice shade tree at the bottom and rest up before you do that climb. Because that climb, if you're rested, will take nowhere near as much out of you than if you tack it on to the end of already being tired, riding nonstop for a long time. All right. This is Jesse Thomas Road, the famous triathlete. Not named after him, but I sent him a picture of it and he responded. He laughed. He thought it was funny. I think he's the one that came up with picky bars, if you ever ate those. Or thunder something bar. Maybe that was a different person. All right, let's check the rack. I've got this mounted so I can twist it off. No cars coming. And stopping the road with cars. Tight. Yo, dog. These bolts are tight. You see how I got these? I don't know if you can see on the camera. A twist tie running through them. So if they come loose, I won't lose them. That's a motorcycle racing thing. And these bolts happen to have holes in them. Isn't that cool? That came off the vast like that. That was a nice touch. I kept those bolts on there nice and tight. And then these, let's see, nice and tight. Bottle cage bolts, nice and tight. Okay, yeah, let's get back on it. Hello, there you go. And then, doo-doo-doo. I got some really cool YouTube podcast news to give you all. But I was waiting to the end, you know, for the meta inside baseball behind the scenes stuff that some people love to hear. In case you ever want to make shows or you want to know how the sauce is made or whatever is made. I'm going to mix the water. I'm going to save a little bit of fuel for later. We had breakfast tacos at work. And I ate one too many, so I'm still being powered off of those things. Yeah, so I'm super excited if I can get that rear ratchet thing fixed for cheap, which I think I can. Then I'll have some carbon race wheels, and then future episode I'll aero the front out. There's a trick I've got to turn a non-aero wheel, a shallow wheel, into an aero wheel. It's really freaking cool, and I'll probably just do it to the front because that's the one that it matters the most. And it was really interesting watching Leadville and some other races where some of the pros, a new thing was to put, they did a couple of crazy things. One at Unbound too. But if there's a lot of vertical climbing, right, a lighter bike is better. But Aero still matters a lot because it's fast. They're pros, they're really fast. So they would use an Aero wheel, which is heavier, on the front where it matters to be Aero. And then on the back, a shallow rim where Aero doesn't matter as much. But you might as well cut down on weight. Isn't that cool that they did that? And then I think it was at Unbound. Yeah, oh yeah, at Unbound. People noticed, like after the race or something, that Keegan had 2 holes drilled in his rims and 2 valve stems. And it's like, what in the world is going on with that? It's like opposite of each other. And if y'all don't know, Keegan's like the best. And like, I'm not just saying that, he is. He just won World Mountain Bike Championship. I think I hear a train or something nearby. And what they did is they put a TPU, they did the regular tubeless tire thing, you know, with the valve stem, like it should be. And then they custom I got a little bit of tow road right there. I'm gonna wait for this car to go by at this stop sign. They custom drilled a hole in the other side of the room, opposite of the other valve hole. And then they put a TPU inner tube in, ready to go, but with no air in it. Or minimal air. And then if he got a puncture, then you could fill up the TPU inner tube without having to put it in. It's already in. And TPU inner tubes are like super light. So they were figuring it was worth it. Isn't that wild? And Keegan and his buddy that he trains with apparently came up with that idea on their own to do that. This is cool right here. And with rear radar, I can tell if there's cars coming up behind me. It's way less stressful than having to look back over my shoulder. This is so nice. Once you ride with rear radar, like, you never go back. They'd been out for a little while, and then I read a review of DC Rainmaker. It's a friend of the show. I don't know if he even remembers. I spoke with him a long time ago. But he's like the best reviewer by far of stuff. And he said it's the kind of thing that if you forgot it, you go back and get it. And that is a critical thing to think about. The kind of gear that's really good gear is that I start off on a ride and I forgot, I go back and get it. And the other one is if the thing breaks, whatever it is, do I go out and buy another one immediately, like as soon as I can. That's the kind of gear that you want. So these Headshock headphones, when they crap out, I've actually got two pair. A pair crapped out, a few years ago in the middle of like a 6-hour race. Okay, this isn't very safe, so we're gonna be careful doing this. Although I do feel a lot safer with lights. And so it was salt and sweat, that did it. So I went out and bought another pair. Threw out the old ones. Well, you could hit that trash can in this bike lane by accident. And get in the bike lane. There's a freaking trash can in it. What if I hit it? And I decided somebody let me try theirs, the swimming ones, at the pool. Because I didn't think you'd be able to hear that well. And I was wrong, dude. What happens is your ears fill up with water and it blocks out sound and it ends up making them work better. Isn't that crazy? And also I worried about them coming off, doing a flip turn and pushing off the wall. No, they stay on just fine, which was really surprising because I've tried some other models and they didn't stay on years ago. The only problem is you have to load MP3s on them because Bluetooth and stuff doesn't work through water. It's a really cool fact. The wavelength of Bluetooth is the exact same width as a molecule of water, so water blocks it. But if you really put some power behind it, it agitates the water and that agitation makes it heat up, and that's what microwaves are. Microwaves are the same frequency as Bluetooth. 2.4 gigahertz, I think. And that's why sometimes if you're using wireless stuff like headphones right next to a microwave while it's on, it'll mess up your sound, you know, coming through. Let's do another gravel road over. This is fun. Yeah, you think gravel roads don't have cars on them during the day? At night, it's even safer. I guess the only problem is animals crossing the road are more likely. You could hit a deer and then wipe out. I had a relative hit a horse one time in a compact car. It was not good. The horse didn't make it, and he almost didn't make it. He was in the hospital for a long time because it comes through the windshield because they're so high up. Same thing with hitting a moose or an elk. And I think I've seen a cow standing in the middle of this road one time. So yeah, carbon wheels would be like so much faster and make this bike trip so much easier. But it would be so untested on this bike. But I don't want to risk it, you know? So we're gonna skip it. And just suffer with it. Okay. Yeah, so what we're going to do is try to video as much of the ride as possible. But honestly, you know, I think I can film almost 4 hours. But when you start doing really long stuff starts going sideways, you know? So who knows? And we're gonna carry all our fuel with us for 2 days. There's no water. There's one water stop on day 1 and on day 2. So big mileage with no water, with one water. And then day 2, if things go to plan, we get up, no food, no like breakfast, and no dinner, no like real big dinner either. Where normally bikepacking, there'd be gas stations and you can stop. Well, there aren't any on day 1. There's nothing. Now, if we rode through the night, we'd eventually hit a gas station. And then, but I don't know if it would be open or not. That one particular one in Castell. So, yeah, they closed this gate. I'm super excited about this if the weather's nice and nothing goes wrong, which I would say is like 50% chance. If it rains, this course, there's all kinds of warnings. You do not want to ride this thing if it's been raining because the water crossings will be high. And, you know, it not only sweep you off the road, but if you got a vehicle, it'll sweep your vehicle off the road. So I think the days leading up to it, we'll be looking at the weather, and then if the weather looks like it's raining, then we're gonna have to come up with some alternative routes across the known water crossings and just kind of see what happens. And then off-road, everything's slower if it's wet. I don't think it's mud, but just the grit and the grime. What it will do is keep the temperatures down, which is nice. There's always that upside. So we'll see. So I don't want to promise anything. Speaking of not promising anything, I kind of got a sponsor lined up. I think it's coming together. So we'll see. So that'll be exciting. So stay tuned for that. And for those that don't know, Kai and I are both Eagle Scouts. And even Emily has backpacked at Philmont, which is the huge high adventure backpacking. And Emily worked at a Scout summer camp. And her dad's an Eagle Scout, her brother's an Eagle Scout, her uncle's an Eagle Scout, my brother's an Eagle Scout. I'm trying to remember who else is an Eagle. Emily's brother, did I say, is an Eagle Scout? Oh. So like, as far as the camping and high adventure stuff, we got that down, but camping overnight by bike, we don't, which is really funny, you know? And like, we've done it at high altitude. Camping it overnight at, 11,000 feet in the snow. Oh, we got a siren. So as far as like getting there and then setting up camp and trying to be creative and safety and stuff, because this is the same river basin. It's a network of them where we had those floods a few months ago. That's kind of an ominous sign right there. That killed all those people because it's these narrow, small canyons that are just rock, right? So they don't absorb any water. They just funnel it. There's nowhere for the water to go. So camping on an island in the middle of one of these rivers is like one of the dumbest things you can do if it's been raining. Because you get a flash flood rolling down. Or the water can just be high anyway. In the middle of the night, you got to get out, and you won't. You're going to lose your whole vehicle. You're going to lose everything, and yourself and your bikes and all that stuff. So we'll see. I don't want to promise anything. Yeah, when I do a tight turn, I notice I get the tiniest bit of tire rub, but I got to put it in perspective. I'm riding really long cranks, 175s, and I'm wearing size 13 shoes, and I have the cleats all the way back, which pushes the foot all the way forward. So I think when Coach Brett says this bike's got tire rub, it probably won't. Very small chance you would have tire rub. Oh, Halloween decorations are starting to come out. And I was walking river and he was pooping in somebody's yard, and I have the bag, ready to pick it up. And one of these blow up Halloween like scarecrow clown things started inflating. I think they have it on a timer. It was right before I got on the bike. So it's starting to be night, And he lost it, dude. He was like, "Rah!" and jumped sideways and ran away, barking while running backwards. It was pretty funny. Okay, let's talk about channel hygiene and maintenance. Well, one, to keep up with what's going on with this, YouTube, Zen Endurance on YouTube, Coach Brett, for short stuff. And then Instagram, Zen Triathlon on Instagram. While I have plenty of road, I'm going to go ahead and eat or fuel, whatever. But anyway, I was watching this video on, you know, making YouTube work better for you. Because with the amount of subscribers we've got, and the show's had a YouTube channel for 19 years. I just forgot about it for 15 of them, or no, 17 of those years. I was monetized early on. I had a video hit 2 million views or something. One of my very first videos. And then that was a long time ago. And now everybody's like, oh, you could make side income off of YouTube and all that stuff. So now I'm like, okay, let's try this stuff. But you have to have a certain amount of watch hours and all that stuff. But YouTube's a fantastic platform to both share information, how to do endurance sports, in our case, for example, right? I got a car coming up behind me, so I'm gonna pull over here to the right. I always say bike today in a way that you can bike again tomorrow. So this is that bottleneck street right here with no shoulder. So I don't want to ride down it and have cars behind me trying to pass me where there's no shoulder. And it's not even if they hit you. What if they hit the oncoming car trying to go around you, and then you get hit too, you know? And I'll make a choice. If I get to this street, which has that little footbridge running off of it, and there's still no cars behind me, then I'm gonna keep going on this street. You can even do Aero. Get through this a little faster. I think we're gonna make it. I do have a car coming up behind me, but it's pretty far behind. I can at least make it to this street right up here. Oh, I'm totally gonna do that. I'm gonna turn right. There's still a little bit further to go before there's sidewalk and a second lane. And the problem is the sidewalk's torn up because they're building a fire station right there. Kai didn't know it. He and I were riding together. It's just this ledge. It's like a 2-foot drop or something. And I knew it. And I knew it was just approach. I know he'd be able to see it. But you're kind of committed to that sidewalk. And I stayed in the street. And as I rolled past him, he was like, damn it. But anyway, I watched this thing that showed I want to upload my podcast, audio only, to YouTube because I just want to continue making them, period. And YouTube's a good place to put them. But you know, how do you get people to watch them? And the only thing that I'd seen before is you have to use another piece of software and create a whole video out of the audio, but with a single image. Right? And what a pain in the ass. And then you're doubling up on files. You're creating more files, you know. And it's a video, so it's a big file. Even though it's a static image, it's still big. But what happens is if people go to watch something on YouTube and they don't like it, and they go away, then YouTube starts to bury your content. They figure it's not good, and they would rather show people stuff that people like. Well, if people go to your video or whatever you got up there, and they're expecting something short, like a how-to, like, you know, like a 5 to 10 minute thing, which most stuff on YouTube is, and then they run into this or the audio version of this, which definitely some people want, you know, a long form conversation about something they really like. Not a single topic how-to, but more like an experience, and talk about what's going on, and like a journey with somebody that they're a fan of. Right? Well, if that's what this is, but that's not what they're looking for, then they turn away, and then YouTube starts burying your content, and you'll just never get monetized. And I stumbled across this video that was like, oh yeah, all you do, like say this video is going to be an hour and 20 minutes long or something, hour and a half. There's a way to categorize it as a podcast, right? And that's exactly what this is. We're just talking about stuff. And I narrate as I go along, so you can listen to it audio if you want. And then I was like, cool. And then YouTube has a podcast player. And so it'll throw it into the podcast player as a podcast as well. And so then when people get to it and watch it, it's what they expect it to be. And then they stay longer, and then that promotes your channel more. And I'm like, dude, that's it. That's what I've been looking for. Well, there's more. Turns out. Let's go the long way here. So we got some street lights. Let's go through the castle. If you have an existing podcast that's a real podcast, you can tell Google what the RSS feed is, or YouTube, who owns Google anyway, or vice versa. Google owns YouTube. And it'll read your feed, and then over however many days, take all your podcasts and load them up with a static image. So I actually don't have to do that. And it goes, you have 260 episodes. Do you want it to do all of them? And I'm like, yeah. And so it did. I got to fix it. There was a bug in the feed. It detected like a repeated episode, and it didn't like it. So I got to go edit one of those out. An ID number that was repeated. It's no big deal. It happens with RSS feed. So the Zen Endurance channel on YouTube has 2 podcast feeds. I've made 16 videos that are like half an hour to over an hour long, which are filmed like this, which is podcast stuff. It's just, moving instead of sitting across the table from each other. Oh, some of them are interviews. I need to go back and get those. Yeah, I put those in there as well. Video interviews, like the owner of Lauf Bikes and stuff. And I'm trying to think. Dizzle, Drew Dillman, for example. They're video Zoom calls, with video, but saved up to YouTube. And then the audio only ones are going to get a static image and be what I named the channels video, Zen Endurance, Zen Try, whatever podcast, video is one channel or one feed on this same channel, and the other one is audio feed. Here, I'll show y'all what freaked River out. I think the first one that started going up was this. Y'all see the scarecrow that's real tall right there? That's the one that started blowing up first, and River lost it. Anyway, and I'm so excited because it makes me motivated to make the audio ones again, because there's certain content that's way better as audio. There's no point in recording it with video, and if it's audio, then it also saves a ton of drive space and it's easier to make. And now they can both be up on YouTube and drive more people to YouTube because they're up there. And let's look this way. Let's start turning off some lights. And yeah, hopefully get YouTube to be a source of not just income for me, but I love teaching people how to do this. And so, the more subscribers, everything we get, the more people will catch on to this and this whole different style of training and racing and coaching that I do, that's way more sustainable and injury resistant and ultra endurance style. I've got 20 years of experience doing this stuff and coaching people. So let's stop that. And just a million tips and tricks, like this little compass on my thing. It was sliding around, so I put a little piece of I put a rubber band under it, looped it around here, and then now it's frictiony, rubbery, so it quit moving, which is pretty cool. Little things like that. And then every once in a while you see a red blink down here. That's a power meter pedal. That's pretty cool. So this stayed on. This died, huh? Huh, that's interesting. It turned itself off somehow. Maybe it died, and while it was off, it found some more battery power there for a second. So yeah, I guess what I'll leave y'all with is go over and watch other stuff on Instagram and YouTube Shorts and stuff like that for what's going on as we get close to the race, and then our bike packing thing. It's technically not a race. And then also the audio version of stuff, podcast. I laid off of making episodes because I was doing so much video, but then I'm like, it's hard to get video out there, and it's nice to record some audio versions. And then also I can turn video into audio really easily. So I think what I'm going to do is turn what we just did into an audio podcast. I just drag and drop it into Audacity, and it turns it into audio, and then publish that. So people that are just listening to the audio podcast will get this whole ride. And then what I say at the beginning of the audio podcast, if you want to actually see what's going on instead of just in your mind, go over to YouTube, and then you can catch the video. So I think we got something here. I'm pretty excited about it. All right, I'm going to go in and have an IPA, and let me show you which one I get when we go in here. And I'll be right back. All right, we're going to pick, I guess it's hard to see, maybe, India Pale Ale by Odell. I like Odell Brewing. I think it's out of Fort Collins, maybe? Do I got that right? I can't read in this light. And then hoppy little thing. These are really nice. Cosmic's a little funky, as per the name. And there's one that's got a little bit of citrus in it. And I think that's my selection. So I will pick this one because I haven't had one of these in a while. And it goes in a koozie. I'm gonna have this and then have some dinner and then swim 35 to 4,000 yards tomorrow morning. See y'all later.